here we are to make some flatbreads. So, equipment: a knife, a rolling pin, a kind of a flippy turner thing. Ingredients: plain flour, natural yogurt, and some salt. So it's really easy. All you need is the same weight of plain flour and the same weight of natural yogurt. So I'm going to make 8 flatbreads. There's 4 of us having tea tonight, that'll be 2 each. 8 flatbreads, and 300 grams of plain flour is enough to make 8 flatbreads, quite nicely sized ones. So I've got 300 grams of plain flour, 300 grams of natural yogurt, and then with that in the flour I've got 1 teaspoon of salt, and that's it. That's all you need, 3 ingredients. Now I've got butter, because that's just the bit at the end. Okay, so the butter, I'll show you what you do at the end with the butter. You will also need a little bit of extra flour to sprinkle it and roll around. So make sure you've washed your hands, which I have done, and then all you need to do is mix together the flour and the yogurt. So I've just made a little hole into the flour, and I'm going to pour in all of the yogurt. It's so simple, it really is. So as long as you remember, however much flour you have, that's how much salt, that's how much yogurt you need, and then you need some salt as well. So I'm just going to stir it to begin with. So as you can see, it's all kind of coming together. Keep stirring, keep smooshing. Then after a bit, just clean off the spoon and get your hands in. You don't need to knead it, you just are mixing it together. So keep swishing until all the flour gets mixed with the yogurt. There's no technique, just using your fingers to smoosh it about. Now when it's almost all together, a bit like this, then you can turn it out onto your side, and then just bring it all back, bring all the extra bits of flour, picking it up with the dough. And then you have a very kind of rough dough. That's all you need. So just get all the extra dough off my fingers. And then what I'm going to do is get some extra flour, sprinkle one final kind of smoosh together, and then I'm going to make it into sort of a ball. And this is where you need your knife. So remember, check with your grown-up if they're happy for you to use a knife, or ask your grown-up to do this, because I'm making 8 and to cut it into 8. So in the middle, cut it into quarters, and then cut each of the quarters into halves, which gives us 1/8. Now I'm going to just push 7 to the side, but this is what you have to do with all of them. So you get your one little portion, make sure the cut side's a bit sticky now, so make sure you've got flour on that. Maybe put just a little bit of extra to make sure it doesn't stick, because you don't want it to stick. You get your rolling pin and just roll it out into a circle. Okay, doesn't matter, as you can see, it just unfold it. What you have to do is one corner, just flip over, don't keep rolling over it, just and it's what you want to do is to work it too hard, so I'm going to check it. And so we need this frying pan, and it needs to be on heat. Okay, now it doesn't matter, as you can see, if it all gets smooshed up, it doesn't matter, it just unfold it. What you don't want to do is roll it. If it gets one corner, one edge gets flipped over, don't keep rolling over it, just flatten it out like I did. And that's the fun of cooking, because it really doesn't matter. But what you don't want to do is to work it too hard, because then it becomes a bit doughy. So now we're ready to cook our flatbread. So all we need is a frying pan, a dry frying pan. It's already on the stove heating up. So come over to the cooker with me and we can start cooking. So my frying pan is nice and hot. I've not got any oil or anything in there. It's just dry. And I'm just putting my hand over it. I can feel it's really hot. Now remember, check with your grown-up, and it's probably a good idea for your grown-up to do this bit for you and you to watch. So plop your flatbread on, and then we're going to just wait a bit for it to cook. So as you can see, it's kind of starting to look a little bit of a different colour. It might just have a little bubble in it or whatever, so I'm going to flip it over and see. Not bad, not bad. So we might make it a little bit darker. It can go a bit darker, that's fine, but you can see it's popping up a little bit, puffing up as the other side cooks, that's fine. Ooh, puffy. Alrighty, so now I'm going to use my stirry thing, put it on the plate and turn the oven off. That is our flatbread cooked. Okay, so the last bit now is to have a little bit of butter on, and you can either melt the butter and then brush it on, or the flatbread is hot, so if you get a bit on the knife, it doesn't need much, it's not masses of butter, it's just a little bit. You can use any spread. You can use sunflower spread, or you could even just have some olive oil on it. It's absolutely fine, whatever, something to just finish it off. Now of course it's the taste test. Josh, do you want to come and join me for a taste test?
Yeah!
Okay, so I'm going to have to cut it in half. No, that's half, isn't it? I'm going to make it equal.
I want the bigger half.
No, they're equal. Oh, I don't know.
Give me the bigger half.
Right.
That's a bit.
It's hot. Okay, you have that side then. Okay, here we go then, Josh. Let's try the flatbread. Cheers!
Cheers. Lovely.
Now, would you recommend that everybody has a go at making flatbreads for tea or lunch or breakfast? What would you have your flatbread with if you could choose anything?
Nutella, probably.
There's a great one for breakfast. What if you had it for lunch? What would you have it in it for lunch?
Falafel and hummus.
Falafel and hummus, nice and healthy. What if you were to have it for tea? What are we having tonight with tea with our flatbread?
Tagine.
Nice. Any kind of stew or pasta dish, anything at all. It's bread. It goes with everything. And I don't know if you can use gluten-free bread. Flour. I'm sure you could. I haven't tried it with gluten-free. But if you are celiac, try it with gluten-free flour. Let me know how it turns out. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
Let's keep eating.
Delicious.